good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, good day. This is the LAMDA log, week 10, day 5, November the 21st, 2025, Friday. We started bright and early at 9 a.m. No warm-up, but with ensemble singing with James Mikolos. And we took roll. And then we got into 4 groups of 10, and one person in the middle said their full name, and then we riffed off of their name. And we created a whole sound around it. So like, for example, if James was in the middle, the teacher, we could have been like J, 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 and then other people were like and then like build a song out of it. And we all picked like a part of their name, made a sound, made kind of a soundscape beat to it, and then James like told us in the circle to like lower, and then to come back up, and then to back up, and then to get close, and then to get loud, and then to suddenly stop. And it was cool. Dance Trap, I think is what he called this next game. But the idea was we picked just like sounds and then built the same thing off it. And we called ours Mr. Miami because we had a little pit bull like 305, 3, 5, Mr. 305. And then dooba 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 doop boo dooba 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 doop bow dooba 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 doop boom boo. Something like that was mine. And it was fun. And then the other three were legit. We had Undulation Station. And shout out Sandridge. And then I Need It Bad was a great one. It was a huge, it was like more of a song. It was cool. I really liked that one. And then Potato Chip had like guitar solos like because the guy who did it would like stop everyone going and then they go back into it. It was so good. And then what we're gonna do next week, what we did is we wrote down all different lines of a song or a poetry, and then we're gonna make a song out of it. And we didn't get to making the song yet, but it should be fun. I have it somewhere, actually. I was in charge of not losing it. Let's see if I still have it. I do. The lines we got were, "My commute was dreadful, but I'm here now. Upon the flowers I contemplate my place, wondering where to go and who to be. There's an old tale I know. I can't feel my toes. I can't help but feel inspired. Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear. I feel like better days are coming. Vodka, tequila, on a Friday. Everything I do, I could do it with my eyes closed." And lastly, being rich in your company is everything. I think that's what it says. Being rich in your company is everything. Yeah. So we're gonna make a song out of that, and it should be awesome. And then we moved on, and we had voice with Tamsin because our schedule was still changed to where we had voice then movement then booze. So we ended with booze, which is really optimal. So at Tamsin, we got some clarification on what our project's going to be. So we're going to prep our own warm-up. It'll be 10 minutes, and we're going to really focus on the beginning foundations, release, breath, and sound. We walked the space a little bit, made connections, like usual, just like looking at each other, acknowledging each other. Then we touched finger pads, and then made a bubble of sound, like filling in a circle. Just, and then we disconnected. Found someone else. And then we touched elbows. And the sound became a sigh. And then we touched backs. And then we got some time to work on our own warm-ups. And some things that I'm thinking is release with body parts. There's side stretch and kind of opening that up, and then swinging arms and rolling the neck. Then there's the spinal roll, the tabletop, the spine spiral, beach ball breathing into breath, and on a sh, and z, and then breath stretch, the that one on maybe a sh, the jaw shake, the months, January, February, March, April, and then sirens on a trill, and then something else. And then I was thinking, and then we spoke some text that we had just like in our projects, and then we moved to walk the text. And then we got in a circle and all spoke different parts of our text, one after another. Like, with the insatiate greed of his desire. It's not really right, but whatever. And then someone else would come in with their line and come in, and we were negotiating the who would speak when. And then we began to move, what does it say, move spaces in circle? And continued. Then we switched our spaces in the circle, and we were then able to interrupt each other. So once you felt compelled to say a line, you interrupted. And then we moved in the space, continuing into a jog and back to walking, back to a new spot in the circle, the whole time interrupting each other. And then we took a little 5-minute break, and we discussed the activity. And I found that that I would have an idea on someone's line, but then to like get the line from my memory right, by the time I got it and I was ready to say it, someone else would have already gone. I was like, I'm behind. But it was good. And then we did some releasing face muscles. We did the lion face. And had it slowly melt. Did that a few times while walking around. Then we did our open our box. Key! Right? And in my box was an isolated day with Emma. Because last week when we did this, we had a bunch of fun things. And so I just want a day with just Emma and no obligations and nothing. Sorry, Theo. But it was just, you do an inward K sound and show your thing, and then key, and you close it. And then we put our tongues out, relaxed, and walked around while speaking our text. So just here first. I did, with the insatiate greed of his desire, and his enforcement of the city life, his tyranny for titles, and his own bastardy of being got the father there in France, and his resemblance not like the Duke. And then even further. Before I didn't tell your littleness, being the right idea of the father, both in your form and your nobleness of mind, your discipline and war, wisdom and peace, your bounty, virtue, fair humility, and when my orders for a dutiful end, I bid them that the love of the country's good, cry, God save Richard, England's royal king. So we did that. And that's kind of how we ended it. And then, then we had, I think we had lunch. And then we had mouvement with Heriberto. And he had to leave 30 minutes early because he had like a killer toothache, something going on where he had the same thing last week, but it was just unbearable, and he had an emergency dental meeting. So we did the same kind of thing we did last time, and we explored the woods, and the idea was we're going to go up a mountain this time, so we're working with space. So explored the woods into a mountain that was then climbed, and we looked at the top and then descended to find a lake, and then we throw a stone into the lake. I was confused because we did this individually at first, and I only got to finding the mountain because I thought he was gonna guide us a little more in, but he didn't, and it's all good. It's all good. Then we discussed it together, what we found and what we saw. Then just some things I wrote as other people went is that obstacles are not bad. We just need to not have conflict with the obstacles. They are opportunities. Think parkour. There's a bunch of obstacles in parkour. It's like, yeah, let's go. Let's get it. And can we see the mountain in you? How is that shown? Then the first person who went, we said to make the mountain big, use the center space. Don't just go around it. We had this idea to use more space by going on the outer rim in a circle. But then we think the mountain is just in the center, and then it seems really small. We have a habit to go in circles counterclockwise. It's just something we do, which is fascinating. Needs to be open in every direction. There are habits and... Oh, I didn't finish that one. And there are habits that we have, and we're trying to break them, I think. Elevation walks more labored and more lateral, right? Because you start out vertical, and then the higher up you go, the more lateral. You lean forward. And then as you're going down, you lean back. Not everything goes internal. Not everything goes external, right? What is inside and what isn't? We need to find the balance. What is the timing? What are my characteristics? How does my character do it? Then the next person went and really focused at going down. And we need the right timing, the right effort, and the right weight. And that's just something we need to observe and apply. Needs to be momentum when we're ascending. We need that force. Breathe, 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 breathe. Yep. Don't get stuck in a single tempo. Rhythm versus tempo, there's a difference there. Rhythm, tempo is the speed in which you're doing it. That's a steady rhythm, but it has different tempos. Always be in awe about the space. There are no disappointments. Seeing this giant mountain has awe and wonder. The new challenge that he had is to run up the mountain. Oh, he didn't do down till a little bit later. And we could spend months being technically accurate, but momentum is more important. And don't have the fear about the space that makes it about you. It's not about you, it's about the space. What is the topography of a text? That's what we need to bring into it. Okay, can you see the place? Can you see the colors, the animals, the smells, the weather, the sounds, the textures? And how do you bring the audience into that? Like on the globe, there's not a lot of setting. How do you create that for the audience? And then he had the new challenge, which was to start at the top and go down. And where's that eye line? It should be down, right? If you're looking up, if you're looking out, if you're looking down. It was funny when he like looked out. He's like, oh, you did it! Congratulations! You finally saw the woods. But he was supposed to be seeing down a mountain. And then down brings up speed, right? The line is you're leaning backwards because your feet are going faster and you're trying to offset the balance. And then when you're going up, you're leaning forward. Same thing. And then life is abrupt, brutal. There are repercussions. Our homework is to go up and to go down. And this was our last class with Heriberto, well, for this term. But remember, acting is psychology. Psychology is from the body. Yeah. Then we had our little 30-minute break, and then we had booths. And we had some housekeeping that didn't make any sense to me. He just told, Ollie just told us about like the schedule for the last week. And Monday we will have rehearsals in rooms we are performing in. Tuesday we're rehearsing and then performing. And maybe Wednesday we have intro to Spanish dance and Jacobean theater, which Rodney's coming for. I think in the afternoon of Wednesday we have winter concert rehearsal, or maybe that's Thursday, unsure. And then Thursday we have our one-on-ones with our director and Ollie, and we kind of talk about like what went well, what could be improved on. Then Friday is our winter concert, and that's the gist of it. Then we had our booths, and so the first person was an American girl. She's normally British, and she was talking to her best friend Katie while she was on her honeymoon in Paris, but like kind of realizes she's in love with her college roommate and wishes that she were on the honeymoon with her. And it was a pretty good American accent. She's so good at subtext and the inner world. The accent felt really embodied. It was a great mask drop in timing of the change when she kind of made that realization. People fall in love with people, right? And the phrases and structures were great at American. It didn't feel English. Not like the language, but like from England. And the situation was separate and individual from the accent, which was good. Then the next person went and was a woman who was pregnant and was getting an abortion and leaving the father. And it was really difficult and raw, grounded and authentic. Handled the subject matter with very mindfully and very carefully. Beautifully vulnerable, captivating. She was also an addict. And what might the circumstance, what might the character's reaction to their own emotional reaction be, right? That's another layer Ollie said you could add, is what do we do when we have a reaction that we don't want? And then go into the booth with the expectation, hope that everything's going to go perfectly, and then when it doesn't, how does the character fight to get back to that, and do they ever get back to it? Then the next was a father who was telling his son off for not talking to him anymore after the father turned off his wife's life support. Heavy stuff. Great timing with final line getting out off. Great. Blanked. Great timing with like the final line, and it got cut off right before he could say what he should have said. It's like, I'm sorry or whatever. Great difference from who this actor is, from who the character was. The last 30 seconds was the most successful part of the booth. It played the objection. The objective. It played the objective and wasn't getting caught up by the text. And then I thought, what do I need? Because this was this actor's last booth, and so it was, what do they need? And what do I need? I don't know, because that's my last booth. Who's to say? And then at the end, he swiped away his emotion. He just did one of those, and Ollie was like, my dad does that. And he's a blue-collar kind of working man, and he just, any unnecessary, silly emotion, swipe it away. And he was like, that felt really authentic and really real. Then the next person went, and he was speaking to Steph, who was his wife. And he was saying, who was away, and he started to see and date someone else, and he was like on his way to like meet the parents. And he dressed up, had this pink shirt and suit on, and created something where he couldn't take the record. That was something he wanted to do, is say something that he wouldn't take the record, but he would leave it in the booth. He created the interior and exterior of the character really well, inside the booth and outside the booth. didn't over-sentimentalize the booth. The escalation from A to C, like his emotional arc, was well paced and greatly performed. Ollie thought, how might this actor have been at the beginning, and what would he have done? It would probably have been a bigger blow up, more habitual stuff, and taken more time. And so make sure your things are choices, not just habits. Make sure your choices are make sure your choices and movements and character are telling the story. We are natural storytellers and natural story decoders, right? And so when we're watching something, we're like, what does that mean? What does this mean? Oh, and the actor is not necessarily thinking about everything they do, but is that little thing that they decided to do or just did, is that part of the story? Does it help or hurt the story? There was one moment where he kind of hit his head and he was like, what am I wearing? I'm going to cut my hair. And that was Ollie's least favorite moment. It just felt bigger, unnecessary maybe. And then the next person went, and he was like a German popular gangster type guy. He put a bunch of tattoos on his sleeve and had a chain and like sagging pants and a beanie, and was telling his friend to stop messing around and go for it with this girl. He wanted to do something bigger and something out there. Such great commitment. Tattoos. He had a little blunt. It was a prop. But the first half was strong, and he let it go for a sec, but he kind of seemed self-conscious, but then got back into it. And then when do we need to forgive ourselves in the process as actors? Sometimes we get in our heads too much. And then great one to end on, very admirable. Then the next girl went, and she was a girl who got pregnant by her friend, like by her friend's fiance, and she's going to keep the baby. And she had this realization that she doesn't need him, but she wanted to do a character who wasn't sure about what she wanted to say or do. She had to build up to the decision. Great use of breath in conveying the character. And there was kind of like an FU moment at the end that had great specific color to it. It was almost like banter, like not friendly, but it's like the way you would say it to your friend. It's like, well, screw you, you know? It wasn't just like, rah, like that. Very clear arc, physically told, grounded, breath, pitch, all changed, fully embodied that switch. Felt very distinctive with the conscious and the unconscious. Then someone else went, and it was a really insecure, possibly someone with OCD or autism, and who was really trying to read a poem and confess his love to someone, but forgot one of the cards. He had like 3 cards, and he just really attacked himself. Not like physically, but verbally, and like ripped up the poem and was just like, what are you doing? You're so stupid. You're such an idiot. And just like went off on himself. Yeah, and he opened the door in a different place, which was interesting. But then he didn't close it. Like, we always go like right by it. It was just different. And I was like, huh, interesting. But it wasn't for anything. I was just like, ooh, something that's different is always interesting to me. Seemed like it was really useful for him. Ollie told him. Had a bit of a stutter and this difference about him, right? Felt like it wasn't indulgent. It was just allowed to play out. Really nice physical specificity, great difference. Has this leading man, generous energy, so it was fun to see the opposite of that. Simplicity yields complexity. And then what do I need? I don't know what I'm doing for my booth. But yeah, that was Friday. Sweet day. And then I went to see Wicked for Good with some friends, and that was awesome. So just a day full of good times. yeah, and now we're entering into final skill weeks and then our final week. And it's crazy, but we're getting there. We're doing it. Okay. Have a wonderful day, lifetime. Love you.